Hello, my name is Stephanie. I'm Stephanie. This is Stephanie. This is Intelligent Luxury. I'm going to give you a lot of information today. Right now, I was watching simultaneously. The computer is slow. My internet is slow. I was watching the NCEAI inaugural council meeting. So I pray every day for the safety of the police, for someone like me who needs the police to stop people from cyber stalking me, and other things. It's a blessing to have the police and law enforcement. So I hope they're able to help me quickly. Let's start with this great, wonderful New York Times. Talk about that. Talk about the Frederick Douglass speech. I read part of what just what to a slave is the 4th of July, and I'll discuss where you can hear it being delivered. The speech "What to a Slave Is the 4th of July" by Frederick Douglass. This morning, I I listened to Brand Week. I hope you all did. Tell me about what you think about Brand Week at Intelli Luxury, INTELLI Luxury on Twitter, at Intelligent Luxury Magazine on Instagram, and I have a Facebook page as well for all of you on Facebook with me. So all my friends on Facebook. Tell me what you think about Brand Week. I thought it was really interesting. So I don't know how long my show is going to be today. It might be about an hour. And I'm just taping. You can watch later. Usually I upload it to YouTube. And it's on YouTube, Nyack Rocks, like Cleveland Rocks. That song, I like that song. So Nyack Rocks, you can say, "Oh, we rock, Rockland rocks." So it's in Rockland County. Let me talk about my script. So I posted my template for my September 11th show on my blog of my website, intelligentluxurymagazine.com. And you can read the script too. It's edited. Sometimes I take things out of the script. This is just my version of the script with no camera directions, not split in half and all that other good stuff. So I just made it easier for me to read. It's a little narrow. It would be very long if I put it in half and all these camera directions. I only have one camera. So my cousin Virgil was telling me to talk slowly. I wish he would call me. That would be nice. Uh, my template for my script. So no camera directions. This is Stephanie. I'm Stephanie. I love reading books. I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. Please visit NAACP.org. Become a member of the NAACP. Michael Jordan steakhouses are in the states of Illinois, Connecticut, and Washington. The steakhouse in Illinois is not a casino. On my website, IntelligentLuxuryMagazine.com, there are links to Mr. Michael Jordan's restaurants websites and a link to Marriott's hotel franchise. So Michael Jordan owns a golf course named Grove 23. Membership is by invitation only. Michael Jordan promotes the Jordan brand on Nike.com or Jordan.com. You can travel to Nissan.com, or I'd just say Nissan.com. And then he also sponsors the Novant Health Michael Jordan Family Clinic. Michael Jordan has a Nissan dealership near Duke University. The information is on my website, intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Please visit the U.S. Food Chef store on 3304 Eastway Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. Further information about Mercedes-Benz is available at mercedes-benz.com or mbusa.com. So let me add that to the script, and I'll post the script later, today or this month. So isn't it great? Mercedes-Benz is attractive. We're all attractive. Attractiveness is within and in the exterior is not what I wanted to say. Actually, this is your whole being, So please visit YourEngagement101.com. I worked at Engagement 101. Please visit Bloomingdale's.com. Please visit BarnesandNoble.com and Books A Million. So the great thing about being an editor is that I realized that when you have an editor, you have to constantly edit, and you do need editors when you're an editor. So it's teamwork. But it's just me and this little company, my little company. So, editing bad sexual innuendos is also the best thing for some people. So please visit your independent booksellers. So one of my favorite independent booksellers are my local stores in Nyack, in Ridgewood, New Jersey, in I don't know of any others. A lot of in Philadelphia. I used to go to, so I like independent bookstores. Please visit metmuseum.org for more information about the Met Museum. I am Stephanie. My website is intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Today I'm wearing apparel and accessories from Walmart, Target, Pandora, and Africa, from the continent of Africa. So President Trump participated in a briefing in wildfires today. And then he will deliver remarks. President Trump will deliver remarks and participate in a ceremony recognizing the California National Guard. The president will also participate in a Latinos for Trump coalition round table. The new Mercedes-Benz S-Class can be experienced with your senses, seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, while offering numerous innovations in the areas of driver assistance, protection, and interaction. MBUSA.com. The vice president, GoldmanSachs.com. Redesigned Mercedes-Benz E-Class family to start from $54,250. Today Vice President Pence is to deliver remarks at a Make America Great Again rally in Wisconsin, and uh, will deliver remarks to a Montana GOP at a and he plans to deliver remarks at a Montana GOP rally. Michael, U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo, today he said, we really don't have any. There's something I wanted to discuss about the U.S. Secretary of State. So, the U.S. Secretary of State works for the Department of State in the United States. Love is a beautiful thing. Love of being nice to people is a beautiful thing. Only beautiful people say that. Only beautiful people say that. So let's talk about Pompeo. So he's the Secretary of State. So let's talk about difference. Like today is International Day of Democracy. Let's talk about the Mekong U.S. partnership. The Mekong region deserves good partners, they said, for the Department of State said. So there's the launch of the Mekong U.S. partnership that is for the importance of the Mekong region to the United States. The relationship with Mekong partner countries is important because of our Indo-Pacific vision and the strategic partnership with the ASEAN. So there's about $150 million initial investment in regional programs, and that they will build on the good work of the Lower Mekong Initiative and the 3.5 billion regional U.S. assistance during the last 11 years. Also, let's talk about the U.S.-Qatar strategic dialogue. So, U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo, he spoke in Washington, D.C. at the Lloyd Henderson Auditorium about the U.S.-Qatar strategic dialogue. So he said, good morning to everyone, and he wanted to welcome the excellence Minister Al Thani, Minister Ali Mahdi, and the excellencies and Minister Al Kuwari and Ambassador Al Thani. Secretary Mnuchin and Ross, they're also he's grateful for their partnership. They want to promote stability in Qatar and in the region. So, actually, you can probably read his transcript on the U.S. Department of State's website about that partnership. Also, this weekend at the Cyprus Center for Land, Open Seas, and Port Security Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony, Secretary Pompeo spoke. They talked about the robust, growing diplomatic, security, and economic partnerships between the United States of America and the Republic of Cyprus. So that's interesting, and I thank the U.S. Department of State for giving me that information to give to you. Mayor de Blasio. Let's discuss Mayor de Blasio. I really find like there's sometimes these quiet settings. I like Charlie on WP on PBS. Just a very quiet show. I always wanted a very quiet show, and sometimes I'm loud. So sometimes I have my music playing and we cook. Right now, before we cook this month, I'm trying to organize my recipes for the cookbook, and perfectly I'm trying to move. So after I move, I plan on cooking again and sharing some of the recipes that I have. And the recipes come from years of shelving cookbooks at the library, years of reading cookbooks, reading recipes in the New York Times, reading recipes online, and then kind of mixing them and alter them to what I want, adding oatmeal to flour, bran, fibrous flour, brown rice flour. So let's discuss my notes from today. So Mary de Blasio held a press conference today, and I thank the city of New York for letting me in on this press conference and media availability. So he said, we are working together to make sure our schools are starting smartly in New York City. It's great to come to New York City. It's a city that I work in. I don't live in New York City, and I work in New York City so often. I love the city. I love businesses in the city, supporting businesses, and preferably I'll be able to have a business in New York City, like a Golden Cross business maybe. Which I'm sure they already have. There's several Golden Cross locations in New York City, also on 125th Street, one of my favorite locales, 34th Street. I still think they have that locale. And then somewhere near 42nd Street on 8th Avenue, just south of 42nd Street. I think between like 42nd and 40th is the Golden Cross. So if not, you can go to Golden Cross, Google Golden Cross Bakery and Grill, and go there. So there's a lot of school-based staff testing, and they're ready for opening day. They also talked about the Macy's parade. I wish everyone could wear their mask and go to the parade. Yeah, we have to watch on TV. So Macy's.com/parade. Maybe someone, the governor, will do something about this. We need the parade. We need to go outside. We need the sun. We need to be around people. Something that we need. So thank Henry from Bloomberg, Andy from NBC for asking great questions today. And y'all can go to like Bloomberg website and watch Henry and watch NBC later today at 4 p.m. I think that's with Mr. Holt, Mr. Holt's son, Stefan Holt. I'm Stephanie. He's Stefan. That's funny. So sometimes I watch that before I watch Maurice Dubois or David Usher. Oh gosh, Usher. So State of the Indoor Dining returns to NYC on Usher. Usher's on tour. Usher has something. I'm going to talk about that later. State of the Indoor Dining returns to NYC on September 30th. But right now, it is National Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. They have the Marriott International Inspires Travel using the Let's Go There campaign. So find out more about that on Marriott.com. For more information about Marriott's concierge services, please visit quintessentially.com or Marriott, quintessentially.com /right/ I say Marriott dash experiences. Let's talk about NYC staycations. We have the Bronx Asset Avenue. So my friend Danielle has tours in the Bronx, I think, still on on her website on Arthur Avenue. So I don't know if she has in-person tours. I wonder if they can start in-person tours soon. Is that possible, Mr. Reverend Diaz? I don't know. So then the Hudson Yards is a shopping center and a residential, and I don't know if they have commercial space. I read a great article in the corner office in the New York Times about Mr. Ross, who owns related companies. So, Mr. Ross, he owns related companies, and I read about it. I don't think I saved the article. I think, I don't know if it was this weekend or last weekend, actually. I think it was last weekend. So he owns related companies and they lease space, and they have a shopping center there with restaurants, and they lease, I believe, commercial and residential space at that locale. So that's the Hudson Yards. I've been past Hudson Yards. I haven't been to it, but it's close to the Jacob Javits Center, which is great because sometimes it's long lines to get food at the Jacob Javits Center. You could just walk right over to Hudson Yards and get it. Isn't it close to the? I think it's close if you walk or you can take the 7 train. Isn't it great that you could take the 7 train now? So then, God's gonna get me through this. I know this. God's gonna get me through this. So, God, I believe, is an entity, not a real person. God is an imagined entity that we all believe in, a force, a power, a something that we all believe in up in heaven. And I believe in God. So let's talk about the Empire State Building and Herald Square. That's a great staycation. You have Central Park, Rockefeller Center. At Rockefeller Center, you can start with the top of the rock observation deck and see the Today Show maybe. Plan to visit Wales and more specifically Pembrokeshire. It has coastal walks and castles. Please visit the website Visit Wales or visitbritain.com for more information about traveling to Great Britain. God's gonna get me through this and arrest this person. This person should be arrested. I don't understand. Some people think that subliminal messages are secret. We learned it in marketing class. So the police are listening, collecting evidence. God. I've never been to the Empire State Building's observation deck yet. I know people get engaged on the observation deck, so it's really great. Herald Square has Macy's, the store Macy's, and H&M is nearby. And Conway, I like the store Conway. Not a luxury store yet. I like that store. Central Park, Rockefeller Center start with the top of the rock observation. See the Today Show maybe at the Rockefeller Center. And there's a shopping center below Rockefeller Center. So that's it's not only for employees. I love the Rockefeller. There's a Ben and Jerry's down there, I think still, Dwayne Reed, and clothing stores. So that's somewhere central. Plan to visit Wales, or more specifically, Pembrokeshire, as coastal walks and castles. Please visit the website visitwales.com and visitbritain.com for more information about traveling to Great Britain. British Jewelers, thank you very much. Kate Middleton and Prince William's wedding publicist, one of them being Afro-British. Thank you for your help. Learn from the best. Learn from Dwayne Wade, the Jordan Brand, Walmart, Target during the Brand Week Masters Live, September 14th through the 18th. And now it's the 18th. And what a great seminar. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. September 15th, webinar on safeguarding trade secrets in China's changing IP landscape. Register to attend the latest in a series of USPTO webinars focused on intellectual property protection and enforcement in China. Today I was just listening to them talking about innovation. So it's a great webinar. It's on right now. You can probably watch it. You can watch me later. Then there's this free program, Safeguarding the Trade Secrets in China's Changing IP Landscape, will take place Tuesday, 15th, the 15th on at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Or so now. Read Love Your Life, a novel by Sophia Kinsella. So it's like the category is contemporary romance. It'll be out October 27th, 2020. And Temple University's website is temple.edu. Apply to attend graduate school or attend continuing education classes in the classroom. I read most of her books, really fun book. I am a member of the NAACP, which led me to a lot of opportunity. I'm no longer a secretary, yet I am a member of the NAACP. A lifetime member of the NAACP. So join your local branch. You can learn where your local branch is on NAACP.com. Remember, I am a member of the press. I am a registered member of the press and a White House correspondent. Isn't that great? So I wear makeup when I can afford it. No need to steal, harass people, or borrow. It's not what I want. It's not with borrow makeup. Yeah, borrow makeup. So you register with a member of the press. So I love wearing makeup. So my script is the iValley Network. Donate. So donate. Make a donation. They tell you what they want you to donate. So donate money. In No Time to Die, Bond has left an active service and is enjoying a tranquil life in Jamaica. Director Cary Joji Fukunaga and the cast of Daniel Craig with Jeffrey Wright. Thank you for sending me that information. Also, thank you for A Timely Comedy, Irresistible, now available on digital Blu-ray and DVD from Universal Pictures Home Entertainment, starting Steve Carell. And it's probably on demand. So if you go to you'll be able to download it from your on-demand service. So they have a video on demand. Visit Oregon, Microsoft Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for Microsoft Service Computers, Adobe Creative Cloud, Apple Computers, and back to graduate school. So go back to graduate school with Apple Computers. Register for MEDU Week. Minority Economic Development Week uh, is out right now. And go to Google Minority Economic Development Week. These are some of my favorite book publishers: Penguin Random House, Simon& and Schuster, HarperCollins. Please visit Michael Jordan's restaurants. Please donate to Lehigh Valley Hospital. I'm Stephanie. My website is intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Thank you for sending me that information, Lehigh Valley. One day we will prayerfully again attend one of your events. Westchester Medical Center, I have yet to see press registry, but they have a lot of fundraisers, and you can go to westchestermedicalcenter.com for that. I guess I better mention that website, huh? Or to not get treated. I'm joking. They always treat people well there at Westchester Medical Center. And then at Montefiore, I'm sure they have events too. And then New York Presbyterian. So let's talk about U.S. Chef Store. I'm Stephanie. My website is intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Google Fashion Week in New York and in Australia. Bloomingdale's sells clothing. Please visit bloomingdales.com. Please visit Louis Vuitton. Website louisvuitton.com. Please watch Stephen Colbert from home. Editorials are free advertising. So therefore everything is an ad. Ad is a promotion. So reserve a luxury hotel room today. Embassy Suites Tampa. Watch 60 Minutes on CBS. Play The Sims by EA Sports. Remember that The Sims can design homes and empower of characters. Pray for me, people. I'm praying for you if you're good. Design characters for your film. Please read about my programs on intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Watch PBS, watch American History TV and Book TV. I plan to cook once I have a little bit more money, a little different kitchen. Create crafts. Bloomingdale's, please watch CNBC on CNBC.com. I love Free People clothes. Dressing Free People, please visit freepeople.com. I am a White House correspondent. I am White House correspondent. I read the New York Times. Read the articles on NewYorkTimes.com, the Wall Street Journal, WallStreetJournal.com. And I am going to discuss REITs. These are retail location at a pre-related companies or Simon Property Group or a pyramid or group shopping center. Please travel to the Great Trail of Canada. Follow Adweek Webinars on Twitter at AW Webinars. Hawaiian Airlines invites people to take part in the Hawaiian Airlines Holo Holo Challenge, a virtual fitness challenge that offers participants a choice to holo holo to go out throughout October and run or walk a 50 or 130-mile course while practicing safe social distancing. Participate in the Courageous Conversations Black in the C-Suite with Robin Washington webinar on Thursday, September 17th, 2020, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Zoom, hosted by Spelman College. So I pray to be able to listen to that. I think that the Brand Week seminar, if it's not interfere, or maybe we can watch it later at another time, that would be cool. But if you all want to watch that, that would be good. It's great. It's great HBS. Please visit PGA Tour's website, pgatour.com. Please visit NBA.com, MLB.com, and NFL.com. The National Restaurant Association show opens registration for 2021 event. The show will reimagine the restaurant industry next May for an in-person opportunity to innovate, collaborate, and reimagine. The National Restaurant Association show. For more information and to register, visit nationalrestaurantshow.com/registration, and connect with the show online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Registering Register for the How to Make Your Virtual Event Strategy More Engaging and Impactful webcast, and that is on September 25th, 2020 at 10 a.m. See a schedule of upcoming and recent Adweek webinars at adweek.com/webinars. Serena Williams has a jewelry collection. So you go to serenawilliamsjewelry.com. Patriot Day is September 11th. So remember that for next year. Akil's Girlfriends to premiere on Netflix in the US on September 11th in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the show Girlfriends. Netflix announced a new partnership with prolific writer, producer, director Mara Brock Akil, the producer of Girlfriends, The Game, and Being Mary Jane, to create new original content. As part of the multi-year agreement, Brock Akil will write and produce scripted content and other creative projects for Netflix. So Netflix, I love church with good people, but remember there sometimes are bad people in church. Call the police if anyone bothers you while you're at church. Netflix announced a new partnership with prolific writer, producer, director Nora Brock Akil. So for those shows to create new original content, as a part of the multi-year agreement, Brock Akil will write and produce scripted content and other creative projects for Netflix. Netflix recently announced Akil's celebrated series will be available to members for the first time. The Game is now available, and Girlfriends premiered on September 11th in celebration of its 20th anniversary. Akil said, and I quote, "It is a dream to partner with the force of Netflix, for we have the same goals, telling human stories for a global audience. I'm excited to have a home that allows me the creative freedom and the support to do what I do best, pardon me, paint portraits and murals of women, Black people, and anyone else whose story is missing from the golden age of television. Representation matters, and so does who you build with. I can't wait to work closely with Channing Dungey and her team to launch some great stories," said Akil. Mara Brock Akil has written and produced over 400 episodes of television, leaving her mark on Hollywood. Groundbreaking in many ways, Akil created the seminal television series Girlfriends in 2000. The series was a witty, intelligent, and honest exploration of the many facets of Black womanhood. During its 8-season run on air, it was one of the highest rated scripted shows among African Americans ages 18 to 34. Additionally, during that time, Akil developed the spin-off series The Game, which premiered in 2006 and also quickly became a fan favorite. In fact, loyal fans of The Game rallied behind the series upon its cancellation in what was then an unprecedented way, taking to social media to launch a campaign to save the series. Taking notice, BET stepped up and struck a deal to renew the series and develop additional episodes. When season 4 of The Game premiered on BET in 2011, the series exceeded all expectations, drawing in 7.7 million viewers, becoming the most watched scripted series premiere ever on ad-supported cable. Watch the Spelman Town Hall Courageous Conversations Black in the C-Suite. Go to spelman.edu for more information about that program. So now, let's talk about, listen to my fellow Temple University graduate, my friend, Mr. James Thompson's show. And you can do that if you're a friend on Facebook. He has a website, a podcast, and it's at pink.to /CT /E /1004 905 45674. Mr. Baxter, my fellow Temple University graduate brother, go to markbaxter.com. So, also, Temple University graduate, my friend Sherry Shepherd has a show. Uh, which show should I promote, Sherry? So I need a link to that website for. She has many different shows, many different radio stations. A husband who raps, and so not any famous Sherry Shepherd. She's Sherry Shepherd. Uh, by Temple University graduation. Read notes about brand. Wait, let me read my notes about brand. So Brand Week Masters Live presenting sponsors were IBM Watson Advertising, Reddit, Roku, SAS, The Trade Desk, TikTok, and Triller. And the masterclass partner was Braze, Braze, and supporting partners at Google and at Roundown. Let me talk. There was the Brand Genius Award, so you can go to @Adweek, follow Adweek on Twitter, hashtag Brand Week. And next year, Brand Week will be in a great city. Go to brandweek.com for that. Day one, State of the Affairs, Lessons in Leadership and How to Navigate Multiple, crises and Inspire Your City. That was hosted by Ms. Marvette Brito. Thank you for your help in the past. She has great people at her agency, one of the African American owned, minority owned agencies, public relations agencies. So it's nice working with her in the past. And then Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, 60th mayor of Atlanta, talked about the crises and managing a crisis. So, it's really interesting. She talked about Atlanta being a transportation hub and other things, so that's good. And then she talked about Tyler Perry Studios. And she talked about the HBCUs and the colleges that are in Atlanta. So I think that you'll be able to watch it in a few weeks. You can watch it then. Then in the next seminar, you had a look into the crystal ball, the next era of digital marketing. And that was hosted by Ms. Tamara McCleary, CEO of Thulium, and Randy Stipes, CMO of IBM Watson Advertising and Weather Developer Ecosystem Group. So Randy talked about a decrease in ad tracking online and how that will affect um, and the uh, increase of browsers that will be cookie free, and how that affects publishers' ability to earn revenue and to know what people want to read about. So there's a debate over privacy, but then how will publishers and companies without cookies know what their clients, potential clients and clients want? So she talked about like four salient things, Ms. McCleary and Randy Stripes. She talked about believing in artificial intelligence can fulfill the ambition of the cookie of life without the cookie. What's really interesting to me is Mr. Mark Pritchard. They won. These people won Brand Genius Marketing Awards, and Mark Pritchard, CEO. I'm sorry, not CEO. A chief brand officer of Procter and Gamble discussed diversity, and I thought that was really important. And really, what he said about diversity, and just summarizing, is that he wants to touch almost every person on the planet with the P&G brand, and I think that's important. So touching everyone with the brand is very 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 good for diversity. So thank you, Dites, for hosting that. Brand Dites, Miss Dites, for hosting. that conversation with Richard. So it's really, really great. Thank you, Ms. Jen Wong, CEO of Reddit. Hey, Serena. Serena husband owns Reddit. So that was an interesting discussion. And what did she talk about? She talked about, the video show where passionate communities drive action. And I truly agree with that statement and with that quote. And also, they discussed about 130K active communities on Reddit with 430 million monthly visitors on Reddit. Sometimes I read Reddit, so. And then we have this is a really interesting webinar that they hosted, the New World Order webinar. So the New World Order webinar was hosted uh, was had Mr. Gottfried, had Miss Sadira Furlow, Ms. Andrea Brimmer, and hosted by Diana Pearl, Deputy Brands Editor at Adweek. And they talked about the changes, like especially people, money has become more important. Say that quote. So what's really interesting is that DoorDash, Mr. Godfrey, he talked about starting with customers, relying on delivery to continue to drive their business forward. And overnight, DoorDash became like essential workers. So I thought that was good. Ms. Brimmer said people are trying the financial category digitally more than they ever before with finances, with managing their finances. So I thought that she is from Ally. Mr. Godfrey is from DoorDash, and Miss Furlow is from Frito Lay, one of my favorite companies. Cool Ranch Doritos. I love Doritos, Cool Ranch, and regular. I like regular Doritos too. I call them regular. And what's really how she talked about snacks, how she's in 90% of all households want to be a part of the change in systematic racism at Frito Lay. So that's interesting. So that was really interesting. It was really interesting how DoorDash highlighted how DoorDash had NBA players highlighting their favorite restaurants. So that was interesting. What's really on right now until I believe 4 p.m. is the inaugural meeting of the National Council for the Expanding American Innovation. So the part that I watched today is expand access to innovation is really important. So how do you expand access to innovation? Going to the trademark services, going to the website. You can file your own trademark, but you should probably maybe have an attorney help you file the attorneys or different types of websites like LegalZoom. Become a member. I have other things to read, but you can become a member of that Studio Museum of Harlem. And please visit Georgia Institute for Families.org. It's something that I wanted to read uh, before I close. I'll read it again. Let me talk about all the great seminars that I watched on like September 11th and in the past. So I watched a seminar like what is pure equity fund, and it's like mutual. There are different types of asset management. So there's traditional asset management, mutual funds, hedge funds, and then there's private funds, and then they have private equity funds, equity non-publicly traded operations company. So that's what I was thinking, like a non-publicly traded company, a private investment. Yeah, I believe that you can sell stocks to your own company and have it be a private company. Just the stock is not publicly sold or not available for everyone to purchase. So I think that's really interesting. I think Facebook had a private offering or private equity fund prior to having an IPO. Maybe I'm wrong about that information. So this was a very interesting webinar hosted by Harvard University's Law School. And learning about finance helps you manage your own finances. I know in the past, when I was earning more income, I definitely saved in a mutual fund, and I thought it was great. I have my advisor over there, Nanuet. How you doing, buddy? He went to Princeton, so that's good. Maybe I'll have him talk about the percentages. I was always confused about the percent. Not confused. I always want to know what type of percentages should you put in your savings, your mutual fund, and your stocks and bonds for saving. And now he has his own company. He was representative with another company. He has his own company. We both have our own companies, and he's a great guy. So I'm gonna ask him if I can use his name. Actually, I'm trying to think of his name. I'm sorry, buddy. So you know how I'm doing, right? So I know you'd be happy that I'll talk to him maybe about private equity funds and the basics. And it was so interesting. There was a black woman who worked at the law firm that spoke. And so that information, I'm not going to publicize that. They had really, really a lot of information. So it went very quickly. I was writing notes quickly. And it's so interesting what they spoke about. So they had private equity funds, structural, the basics, performance-based compensation, and return on investment capital. So it is really great. The life cycle of a typical fund. I thought that was interesting about the life cycle of a typical fund and types of private equity funds like debt and all that. So I think you might be able to watch that online. So y'all can go back to that. Thank you all for hosting that. It's lucky in my company that I wrote down, giving you the information. Due to lack of time, you can Google that to find out who. Sometimes I leave out information to encourage people to Google. Because remember, I'm an independent contractor of Google. Alright. So, the UNC Webinar National, and it was from the company. You know what? I think it's in my other notebook. Let me show you this information. I had to get more paper, people. Notes. Remember, it's always okay to stay calm, make an error. Everyone makes errors. Baseball players, etc., etc. Let's see if I have this information. So I started a new way I used to have journals. I used to buy different types of journals. But then I said, I think I need a binder just in case I need to add or take out the information. And so now I'm just like journaling every day, putting the date on it and just keeping everything in date order. And then in the past, because I was a salesperson, I used to like conduct research about several different types of companies. And on loose leaf paper, I would just write each company's name or the brand and then write the notes of any type of contact with the company, whether I emailed the company, whether I called the company, faxed or mailed the company, wrote that down. And I try to keep that for today. I have to kind of update it. But it's good to have a paper version of your database. But I think Google Contacts is one of the best databases that I've ever used as a salesperson, writer, journalist, or any type of. I have so many different types of companies that I want to start, like Sun River and Ocean. So Sun River and Ocean is going to be my product company, which is going to include jewelry, home decor items, art that I create or that maybe others create. And I got that from. We talked about Cornel West and Robert George in another They spoke at UNC's webinar online, so I thought that was great. I have all these notes, and I think I just accidentally took out the wrong. Okay. So, I also wanted to speak about Brown University's programs. So I was like, oh, I know why would I not write down speakers? So it was the Harvard Association for Law and Business, the Beginner's Guide to Corporate Practice, Intro to Private Equity Funds, with the guest speakers, Nathalie Hayward. She graduated from Duke and NYU Law School. Both were African American or minorities, and also Maya Reeves Private Funds Association. Nice artwork. She had nice artwork. 4 years. She's a 4-year associate, Columbia Law and Columbia Law graduate, University of Michigan. So, and then also, I'm not going to tell you their firms, but Michael Wolitzer, a partner and head of investment funds of the practice, graduated from Columbia Law School and Duke. I think I attended a Columbia Law School class. I think I did. And an NYU class in high school. So that was fun. I love this type of stuff. So if you all think it's boring, it's okay. You don't have to support me. Anyone that knows me knows that I kind of overread certain topics that might not be interesting, but your finances are what you should be paying attention to. Or everyone who has any type of pension, you really need to analyze your funds and contact your fund manager when you have questions about your funds. So thank you all for that. This was a great seminar, and it was just fast paced and great about different types of private equity funds, and the life cycle of fund, and basic fund documents, and knowing the types of funds, and knowing what documents they have to fill out in order to have your company ready to be able to have a private equity fund. All these things, and uh, tra- traditional funds. So it's really, really interesting. And I like how I talked a little bit about the law because I'm interested in business law, not so much tax law, but tax law is a part of business law, but also especially investment law. And I worked at some of the top law firms in the nation through a temp agency where I was a case manager, helping um, on SEC cases and other types of cases. So that's really interesting. So the U.S. Investment Company Act of 1914 is interesting. They talked about the registration of the issuer unless exemption is available. So I guess if you're going to invest in a private equity fund, that you should be interested in U.S. investment. Maybe my friend I have friends that work in the finance industry. We'll talk more about this private equity funds and how we can invest in those funds. Or if you have your own company, should you create a private equity fund? Should you have an IPO? Should you have one company that's an IPO, a public company, and then have another company that is the same type of company in the same industry and not have an IPO or a limited liability partnership or whatever type of company you should have? So thank you all. That was That was not Brown University. That was Harvard University. And then, so remember, a lot of universities, if you go on their website, they have programs for the public for you to watch. Or for this virus, they sometimes have programs where you can attend if you're a member of the public and you just show ID or register online. So it's a great way to network if you are just graduated from college. Either you aren't in going to graduate school immediately. It's a great way to network with different professors of different schools where you want to attend. And also, it's just a great way to continue education if you're not able to pay for continuing education classes and credit. So, thank you, GN Diamond. For any of you in the jewelry industry, you can contact GN Diamond. They provide Jewelry Services, two companies. So remember, this I'm an entrepreneur. My it was about entrepreneurs. So let's talk about this other webinar that I saw on September 11th, UNC's webinar, National Health Equity Research Webcast, and that was hosted by Leonetta Ng, um, and she was the moderator, and she is a host on North Carolina's public radio. So I've yet to listen to that show. Maybe one day I can listen to your show. And they had Anita Chandra, Amanda Navarro, and Mia Keys. They're committed to the groundbreaking research at UNC Gilling School of Global Public Health. So hashtag NHERW Carolina. So I put that on my Twitter. I tweeted about that information. It's really, really good idea to go to that website if you're interested in public health or in medicine. Maybe they can have that seminar online to watch that about women's health. And it is time to win on equity, Miss Navarro said. And reimagining our policies and systems for democracy and healthcare. So I thought that was a very good statement that I wanted to share. And then Miss Maya Keys, she wanted a commentary on equity, anti-racism policy to public health leadership. So how do we combat racism in public health leadership? Hire more African Americans or people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, or different types of social cliques. Clique CLIQUE, a social clique. And that was really great what she said. She said, equity matters, said Maya. Impacts how our resources are overall are distributed. How do we help people distribute health equally, especially among poor people? So what I noticed is that a lot of people work at hospitals. If they're not a physician or a nurse or someone that's an executive, they may not get equal health care. So that's something that a lot of the health leaders need to address when they're talking about healthcare. Which leads me to Intelligent Luxury's luxury product trade show. I wanted to have a trade show to kind of to help all of the people that work in the healthcare industry to start their own business, but also at the same time in the healthcare industry, but also at the same time to promote luxury products and services available at luxury pharmacies. So I know that Walgreens, they sell apparel, like really nice dresses actually, and luxury products like hair products, combs, brushes. So I know they sell Carol's Daughter at Walgreens. They sell Revlon. Sometimes they sell Iman. Sometimes they sell L'Oreal, Black Radiance, Milan. I like the Milan brand. More that I think that's like for people that are really beige with Hispanics. So it's just really great to have luxury products, soaps. You have Shea Moisture. You have you have different types of lotions from Johnson and Johnson to uh, Jergens to Dove to Ivory soap. Different type of lotion I like to try. I love Nivea. So these are things that we can discuss. So thank you, ladies, for hosting that seminar, that webinar at UNC at Chapel Hill. There may be still time to. Sometimes you have to go to the colleges. Sometimes they might let you in because sometimes they haven't started their classes yet, or it's still time to transfer. So sometimes there's still time to transfer to enter a class. So it's still time, people. So like I said, I want to host this Intelligent Luxury African American Author Symposium at the Knight Library for locals. And prayerfully, it will be the last Saturday in February if available. But I wanted to add a sub theme, and I didn't tell the director that. but I wanted to add a subtheme called Sports Intellectuals. So now let's talk about the NAACP. Yesterday, luckily I'm able to shop in a grocery store and look on Facebook and watch. I watched on Facebook on my cell phone the NAACP Axel Awards. So that was fun. DJ D Nice, he played Music Soul Child, Maxwell, Stevie Wonder. So I met D Nice. Hey, how are ya? I forget where I met. If he remembers, I have all these old tapes that I have. So he's probably on one of those old tapes, D Nice. So thank you, D Nice. He is a really nice guy. And then lift every voice and sing. They sang in Zoom, and I thought that was great. And then so hashtag NAACP, hashtag AXA. This evening they have more programs. So if you're not able to watch all of it, try to watch something. But these kids were amazing, weren't they? They won awards in architecture. They won awards in chemistry, computer science, earth, earth and space science, engineering, mathematics. I could say mathematics or mathematics, medicine and health, physics, sustainable building. So I think architecture is a new major for people of color now to really invest if you can into majoring in architecture, maybe minoring in architecture, because I think right now is a time where a lot of people are demolishing and building demolishing old homes and building homes to either look like the homes or in modern architectural styles. And I even thought about creating my own, like a neo African American style, which is kind of like a mix of, I guess, whatever we want. So I said, why don't we start a new architectural trend? Like, instead of just a Victorian architectural trend, why don't we African Americans, whoever's out there, start their own neo Afro Euro, Afro British, Afro American architectural trend. So I think that's important. I don't really want to major in architecture. I just thought I could draw a house and create that trend. That's all. So I was I made an error in an email. I told someone I was like, oh God, I hope because I'm not the best sketcher or drawer. But that's how I became interested in architecture through The Sims, EA Sports, and building a house. I always put a pool in my living room. So now let's go with what Derek Johnson. I'm going to summarize what he said. I think one of my favorite things about what he said, Mr. Derek Johnson, the president of the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and aren't we all of color? So the academic talents. So I wasn't in AXO when I was younger, but I would have loved to. So they also competed in humanities in the music competition, original essays, playwriting, and I thought that was it. So in the NAACP public opening address, they talked about public health services and the power of civic engagement and the power in voting. So then also Chairman Miss Ross performed. Thank you, Dr. MLK Jr. I want to thank him because he was only 25 years old when he and another organization, not the NAACP, organized this bus boycott. So it's time to help people now. So also President Johnson talked about leaders walk behind. He talked about the opportunity for peaceful protest, the opportunity for the opportunity to eradicate structural racism, and we are charged to make the democracy better. Work, he said, work. So hashtag stop hate for profit. So this is all the things that were at the 111th NAACP National Convention opening address. And thank you, Reverend Dr. Gina Stewart, the chair of the religious affairs of NAACP. And she talked about in her benediction about uproots Uprooting Oppression. I thought that was interesting. So I talked about last year's event on older episodes. I don't remember which one. I have to go through my episode. So now let's talk about the New York Times quickly. As we love reading the New York Times Magazine, remember you can read this at your local library. They usually have a print copy. Or you can go on microfilm, or you can go online to NewYorkTimes.com. And this is the article that I read. Not my grandfather's kofta. Don't try to read the whole thing in one day. You'll be reading all that. He wouldn't have approved of this vegetarian version, but I think of him every time I make it. So read that in the Eat by Tajal Rao. So that was an interesting article in this. And they also have an article. They have different articles about education in this. And how are African Americans going to get ahead? What if they don't have internet access at home? A lot of students who are poor. I just think of those poor students that don't want to be at home during the day by themselves, that want to be with their friends, that want to be at school, and we want people to go to school. And I think virtual learning is for those who either have to work or who are ill or sick and want to watch the teacher from home. So prayerfully we can get back to what we need to do. So thank you, the city of Newark. I wonder if they need donations of computers and laptops and laptop notebook computers or tablets, computer tablets for kids to be able to go online if you're able to even type well on a tablet. So this is the New York Times book review from this Sunday, The Politics of Fiction. Very interesting. So I usually read, I know that they had different books like The Evening and the Morning, and it's a bestseller. It's about narrative strands in the story of Europe before the Middle Ages. And then we have the bestsellers. But Jane Fonda's article, really interesting. She talks about Nancy Drew, one of my favorite authors, Nancy Drew. And just go and read all the great books. They have a lot of African American authors listed. I was thinking about The Guest List by Lucy Foley, published by Morrow. Live Free or Die by Sean Hannity, published by Threshold Editions. Even though I'm not a Republican, I would just love to read. I like to read Republican novels like nonfiction, like Mr. Mitt Romney. I thought that was an excellent biography, Mr. Romney. Plus, I went to a Mormon church, so it was very, very interesting reading about his life. And then Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's so funny. I was on the way to the gym prior to meeting Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I stopped in at this wonderful bookstore where they organize their books by nation of author or plot. I just thought that was so amazing. So you can go in there and say, I want to read a book about Africa, a fiction book, and that's how they organize their fiction books. And I thought that was amazing. So, also, they talked about the Metropolitan Museum of Art in the New York Times. They talked about appraising black films in the New York Times this Sunday. Malcolm X by Spike Lee, Love and Basketball, two of my favorite movies. They talked about theater and Broadway. And they talked about William Alexander Brown. And so if you want to look up that guy. Sorry, sometimes I laugh for whatever crazy reason. And Carol's daughter. So you can get that at Target too, as well as Walgreens. Carol's daughter. Great hair products. Today I used, what did I use? Tresemme conditioner. So it works pretty well for me. And then Oars for Carol's daughter. Just any type of clear or translucent or any type of oil. The creams really don't work well for me. The white cream, anything white, Doesn't really help my hair. But I'm sure it helps relax hair. So for relaxer, when I relax hair, it works. Um, they talked about black women and all these other things in the New York Times. So read that. We talked about Mary de Blasio. So now let's get to talking about Brand Week. Again? No, we're not talking about Brand Week. Again? I think we talked about Brand Week. And tomorrow on Brand Week, let me quickly. Oh, I have to talk about Frederick Douglass. Didn't we talk about that? Well, I underlined part of what I read. Whoops, now I'm going to bookmark it off. In this, what to a slave is the 4th of July. So, he hasn't talked about slavery in the beginning. So he says, fellow citizens, I am not wanting in respect for the fathers of this republic. The signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men. So this is an interesting speech. I wonder if he's being like, he's praising America, but then he hasn't talked about the institution of slavery in this speech as of yet. So I'm on page 133 in this version of the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, Frederick Douglass, where they have text of his speeches. Yet quickly, if I can remember, I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to tell you tomorrow the name of the website where you can find the video. But if you go to Harvard's website, there's a racial institute. It's called the Charles Something Institute. So I'm gonna try to quickly pull that up. So isn't this great? So let me try to find it quickly for you. It wasn't a part of a webinar. It was just that I conducted research about a professor, and then I said, "Oh, what's so now it's called CharlesHamiltonHouston.org." And I was on this website, and I had to Google the professor to find the YouTube video of a performance of the speech of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass. What I really thought of Engagement 101. So, anyway, Mr. Professor Harris from Harvard at the Charles Hamilton Houston. So it's the Charles Hamilton. I think it's Houston Institute for Race and Justice, and it was so interesting that I looked up information about him, and 10 years prior to 2018, he was given an award. But anyway, he created the Reading Frederick Douglass program. So if you Google the Reading Frederick Douglass program, you can find out more information about Frederick Douglass' speeches and the speeches that they had people deliver. What was also interesting that even that we have the African American author program that's going to be either online or in person, or both. He had the foundation funded play on Toussaint Louverture. So it's so interesting that the Haitian food restaurant that I traveled to in Spring Valley, he has all of these Haitian leaders listed on the wall. So I was thinking about that when I read about this Toussaint Louverture and Caribbean history. So I'm going to put a link in my script to this article that was in Harvard Law Today. And perhaps you can look at that information. I'm going to put it at the end of the script. And I think that's all I have to discuss. Hopefully I can have people on. Once on Zoom, I have sent invitations, but I just have to make appointments and decide how the questions that I want to ask about college. So prayerfully, sorry about that. Prayerfully, I can do that. Remember, I'm going to put the link. So I'm going to embed the video, and then I'm going to put the link to that. Well, let's talk about what we talked about in different times. Is not what I wanted to do right now. So Brand Week has a lot of seminars, especially seminars about marketing and sports. So I know that they're going to have one soon. You go to brandweek.com for more information about that. So this is so interesting. All these programs, an ad week, and on university. So let's talk about. So I think that's all the time that I have for today. So remember, go to temple.edu. That's my alma mater. And you can probably take continuing education classes. There still might be time to sign on for a class. And I think that is all. Sorry y'all couldn't see top of my head. But it's alright. It's here. So today I'm wearing a Walmart dress, a Target necklace. You have to be on a budget when you're an entrepreneur. So, be on a nice budget. And remember to read your Sunday New York Times. And about it. Thank you for watching. I already mentioned the Jordan Institute, so God help me right now from anyone cyber hacking me. So Miami Book Fair. .com, thegoy.com, texasbookfestival.org. Remember that. Remember the American Marketing Association webinars and the American Medical Association webinars. Really interesting information in these webinars. And the Jordan Institute for Families.org is hosted by University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Can you imagine that someone would do that to me? That someone would write me on a award list when I was their secretary? I don't think that would happen to me, right? Why would someone put someone on a award list because they couldn't afford makeup every day? That's kind of mean. So the UNC School of Social Work Jordan Institute for Families is a safe, stable, nurturing families help everyone achieve their fullest potential, they wrote. And it's a program. It has different highlights like the fourth trimester project, the survey of early childhood education data users, and building family wealth. And that's really all I have to say. So some people accident. I forgive people for accidents, but I have to move on with my life. And I pray. I know that there'll be better secretaries than I. Someone that can type quicker, write faster, and dedicate more time